Hello everyone, this is Warpster77 tuning into another video, and today I'm going to be presenting to you my top 10 favorite weapons in Phantom Forces. Now, when I say favorite, I'm not saying these are my personal favorites, but these weapons are what I find to be the most adaptable, diversible, and most effective weapons, whether it be as a power weapon, primary loadout weapon, starter weapon, or high intensity situation weapon. I will be conducting each one of these with their own little reasons why I pick these weapons and why I use them the way I do, and why I believe that they are some of my favorite loadouts. So anyway, I'll be right back with loadout number 1. So coming in at number 10, I have the M60. Yes, the M60 is one of my by far favorite preferred weapons for mowing down lots and lots of enemies. Now, the reason I rank this one so low on the list is because it is not a favored weapon for most situations. I prefer it as a power weapon or a mob control weapon. So it's not very accurate if you go rapid fire on it, but it doesn't need to be when you're hitting a large mass of people. The sights I prefer on this are the Coyote, Cobra, PKA, and the EOTechs, both of them. For underbarrel attachments, anything can work, with the folding, to the vertical, to even the laser. It doesn't really matter. Preferably though, I would use a vertical or folding. For barrels, I don't use suppressors, but a compensator will help minimize the horizontal recoil just a little bit. But that doesn't mean that your aim hip fire will increase at all. In fact, it lowers it. But then we have these three options here, and I don't use the ballistics tracker too much. In fact, I don't really like it. It's not very useful for me, at any rate. So I usually just go with a laser or a green laser, whichever you prefer, whichever helps you. Anyway, that is my number 10 favorite weapon, top 10 favorite weapon. And now I'll be right back with number 9. Coming in at number 9 is the SKS. Now, this one I don't actually use a whole lot, as you can see here, but it is by far one of my preferred weapons when I want long to medium ranged or to close quarters combat and I need to move around a lot. I use this one preferably because it fires faster than the Mark 11. It has a faster reload speed in my opinion, and it is more maneuverable and easier to control with lower recoil. I usually use just the PKA sight, but you can also use the M145. And for really close quarters, I don't know why you would use it, but you can use the EOTechs as well. The barrels I use a flash hider on because the compensator and muzzle brake aren't really necessary due to its low recoil already. But if you must have low recoil and deal with some flash during on some of the sights, you can use a compensator or muzzle brake. Now for the other, I would use preferably a red laser because it helps aim down where the bullet will be at longer ranges rather than the green laser for hip firing reasons. But if you also need a candid delta sight, if you're using a high intense magnification scope, that's fine as well, but I don't particularly use them. And that is my reasons for why I choose this to be my number 9. That, and I also think it looks probably one of the cleanest weapons around. I don't know why you chose tan skin though. Kind of yuck. Anyway, moving on. For number 8 is the Intervention. This is a good power weapon that I love to pick up. In fact, if I pick it up dry or with a laser, is usually my best way of having it. I love the Intervention's easy to use, fast scope in natural sights, but some people put on other sights onto it, which is nice as well to pick up. It doesn't really affect me too much, but I hate when people are stupid enough to put on a suppressor. Why though? Why would you even, especially this one? Like, what are you gaining out of this? You're a sniper. People are going to notice you regardless if you have a suppressor on or not. But oddly enough, it looks the most fashionable with a suppressor. I could see that being for looks, maybe. So, you can use it either dry, which is just where you have nothing on it, or perhaps maybe switching sights just for different ranges. I know that a lot of people who snipe quote-unquote professionally like to have different adjustabilities in sights, but I would usually just slap it on with a laser. Don't even need the compensator on it too much, but I use it for a little bit of aim stability when I'm moving around. But picking up dry is nice too. It's good power weapon, can be a 1-hit kill, 2-hit kill at most. Lots of ammo, easy to reload, fast. Pretty decent weapon. I use this as a power weapon. I will probably not use it as a chosen weapon, like I load it out. Because I have other snipers that I prefer. Anyways, I'll be right back with number 7. Here we have the MP7. This weapon is a great power weapon for a sidearm, such as if you have a sniper and you want to switch out your pistol, there you go. If you have an assault rifle and need a close quarters one to switch to, here you go. This is probably the best PDW for close quarters fights, except maybe the P90, but even then, I don't really like the P90 as much, due to the fact that its stability is low, it doesn't have much for customization for the expense of recoil increasing. That and the reload time is faster. So, for attachments, you can use anything from a literal ACOG sight, PKS, PKA, EOTech, Cobra, I prefer the Cobra actually, Coyote sight. All of these sights do not increase the recoil to a ton. Except maybe this one. Anywho, the barrel, I would either use a compensator, muzzle brake, or even a flash hider, but again, compensator is what I would usually go for. With either a red or a green laser, I prefer a green laser because I don't snipe with this. So I don't see a reason for needing a red laser. I would use a vertical grip primarily. Look at that, it just shoots straight through the fucking roof. This thing is a hipfire beast, this thing is a close quarters master. The only problem I have with this is the fact that it can be used for long ranges. I wish it didn't, because there's other SMGs that are designed for long ranges, and I wish this one had a lower damage rate over time. But this one is by far the most adjustable, diversible weapon there is. I don't usually load out with it too much, as I prefer to pick it up as a power weapon, so it's always nice to have around. Anywho, I'll be right back with number 6. Bet you didn't see this one coming. The AK-12. I love this weapon. It's easy to pick up, great to use, reliable, and adjustable. So, you can use, I prefer a Coyote sight, but I've also picked up weapons with the C79 sight, the EOTech sight, the Reflex sight. Comp aim point I wouldn't use. Cobra sight I wouldn't use. PKS is okay. Definitely no. Do not use a Z point on this. Iron sights are better. Mars is a good one. PKA is a good one. And the EOTech XP is a good one. Very diversible. I would usually use a vertical grip over anything else primarily, along with a flash hider, since you can't really do much with the vertical recoil of this thing unless you want a compensator or a muzzle brake, but even then wouldn't be too affected by it. But surprisingly enough, a PBS 1, no, where is it? Can't find it, hold on. This is a stupid looking suppressor. Hold on, I'm trying to find which one it was. Ah, yeah, the ARS suppressor, surprisingly enough, is really good for mall map, along with green laser. I usually use a red laser for long distances. It's like a pick your poison kind of thing. But anywho, the reason I like it is because it's one of those weapons that contains a lot of damage, high rate of fire, very diversible, easy to use, and it's actually offered at a very low level, which is nice. I also like it because a lot of people use it, so I can just pick it up and go hate that people use a Z point on it because it's like, what the fuck are you even thinking? But I guess people don't like the flash, but whatever. Anyway, moving on to number 5. The Ump. This weapon here is basically an M9, but has more bullets, fires faster, and has a longer range of sights. So, I would use anything from the Coyote sight to the ACOG sight. I've even picked up weapons with this sight on it, and it's actually pretty damn good. All of these sights are relatively effective, except the PKAS, which I would not recommend you using. Along with the underbarrels, you can have a folding grip, doesn't really do much. Angled grip, again, doesn't really do much. The vertical grip, though, that's what you'd want to go for. The stubby is not the best for this weapon. Again, vertical grip is what you want to use. Along with a compensator. Muzzle brake doesn't really do it any justice, it just minimizes recoil a little bit, but the compensator adds so much more to it. It increases the accuracy, aim stability, it keeps recoil low, flash low, and depending on what sight, also, I'm trying to think of what else it does. I think it minimizes vertical recoil, horizontal recoil. That's nice too, because then it just shoots up and down like a M9. I would always prefer to use the red laser because this is a sniper SMG. You can use it for long range, 5-hit KO. If you get him in the head, 4-hit KO. Then, it's also good for close quarters combat because you can easily just switch into full auto and just unload into people. Now, I noticed that he puts it as a 45 ACP now, but you can also pick up 9mm rounds? Question mark? I don't know. But anywho, on to my next one. Coming in at number 4, we have the Remington 870. Not the sniper one, which I actually don't really like too much. The Remington 870 is a very reliable, long-ranged, high-damage shotgun. It has 8 bullets, not as much as the KSG, but this one does way more damage at longer ranges. It can have any sight, except I wouldn't know why you would want this on it. The sights, though, I would usually prefer an EOTech over maybe, say, a high magnification sight, just due to the fact that it's a shotgun. You're not sniping with it. But for some people, apparently, this does that. So, oops. The underbarrel, anything from a vertical grip to an angled grip. I think even a stubby grip is nice too, because it adds with aim stability, so when you're holding down, when you're aiming down sights, it doesn't swerve as much and it's more accurate. The barrel, I would use a flash hider. There's really no point in using any other kind of attachment really, because it's a shotgun. You're not rapid firing the thing, so recoil is not really a big implement. Laser is nice. I used to use a ballistics tracker to track things, and I actually still think that's a better way to go, but I do use and prefer a green laser to help with aim stability just a bit. Lets you know where you're aiming when you're hip firing. It's a mob cleaner. This is what I usually use on mall map, aside from maybe an M60 or a P90 when there's needs to be some strikers done. It's not the longest ranged weapon, that's a given, but it does increasingly help with, or it does do better over range than a KSG or a Cerebu, which was recently added and has horrible range, which is its point. It doesn't have range because it's a little stubby thing, which is how it's designed to be. The Remington, on the other hand, this is what you would want to use for long distances, for shotguns. Anywho, I'll be right back with number 3. We're into the top 3 now. Kicking it back with another sniper, we have the Dragunov SVU. This is my favorite sniper out of them all. I prefer this one over many others because it's rapid fire, 2-hit KO, 3-hit if you get him on little damage there. Now, a lot of people don't like it because of the hip stability, but that's not what you look for with a sniper, and this is my combination for it. Anything from the common sight to the Coyote sight to the Cobra sight to even the PKA sight, which is actually pretty damn good. Another one is the M145, another really effective sight for any kind of range, but again, my default is the way to go. I prefer a compensator as it increases things a bit more, or not a muzzle, compensator. It helps increase the aim stability just a tad, and I believe the only underbarrel I ever used on this was the angled grip, which again increases more aim stability. And then we have the laser, which helps gauges how long you're supposed to shoot, because this does have a low bullet drop, so, or a high bullet drop, so you have to really be aware of where you're aiming with that. It doesn't have a whole lot of velocity speed, so you need to also get some leads on it. And with the aim stability increased, it actually helps with the gauging of leads. The reason why I also like it, fastest reload there is in a sniper. Also, fires fast, and people bitch about it because it's not a bolt action, but it does enough damage to kill in 2 shots, just about as much as an intervention or a Remington. It just doesn't have that one hit KO chance unless you get him in the face, which is also possible, and I believe is easier to do with this weapon. Anywho, I'll be moving on to my second favorite weapon. Here we have the AUG A1. This is a reliable, low recoil, low damage, long range assault rifle. It reloads quick, just about as fast as every other assault rifle. It has a very standard issue crosshair sight for starters, so it's also a nice thing to have when you first start out with it. Easy to get kills with it. Preferably though, I would use the M14A or the comp aim point. Don't really need much else, as everything else lowers the accuracy, and again, if you have a reflex sight on it, why even bother with this particular weapon? The underbarrel, prefer either an angled grip or a vertical grip. Oh, no. Where is it? Yeah, just an angled grip or the laser. Either which or I would not use too often as far as laser. I prefer the angled grip and then compensator to match its low recoil, along with a green laser. I prefer the green laser over this one because it helps with aim stability, which this thing has. It has a lot of aim stability, and it also gauges how far it is, because this thing's range is astronomical. So you don't really need to adjust for bullet drop too much with the red laser. And the green laser just does that as well. Unless you're maybe on Crane Map Revamp, then I would use red laser. But this weapon fundamentally is the best. Damage-wise, not so much. Wouldn't recommend using a suppressor on this one. Now, for my top favorite weapon, you're gonna have to guess. But right now, I would like to give some honorable mentions, particularly the M16. This weapon is a very good weapon. I don't use it a whole lot as far as rapid fires go, but I enjoy dabbling in it when I'm in the mood. The P90, good mob sprayer, fast, easy to use, but again, doesn't really give much for diversity. It's a pretty strict pattern on how you use it. The L86 LSW, very powerful weapon, but it's not always the most reliable as far as accuracy, range, recoil, flash go. Plus, the reload is the fastest for MGs, but again, it's a tick for tack. This is a machine gun. I want a machine gun that mows things down. For an assault rifle, this thing is a beast, but it's heavy, so you're not very mobile. The M4. Believe it or not, I like this weapon quite a significant amount. I use this frequently as a pickup weapon for whenever I need to have a trusty sidearm. Hip stability, everything's really well, but again, the range unfortunately cripples it so that its power is relatively low. The Scar H. I love this weapon as far as for metro maps, but it's a weapon that you can't really use for too much diversity. It has a really increasing recoil depending on how much, or depending on what sight you use, and it doesn't offer too many things as for chances of suppressors. But again, I don't use too many of them, so that doesn't affect my opinion as much. but I always need a muzzle brake to minimize its recoil, along with a laser to gauge its distance. It's not the most reliable weapon either, as it only has 20 bullets, and when you go full auto, you better pray those work, otherwise it's loud and the flinch is high, so people know where you are. And now, finally, last honorable mention, the MK11. I like this weapon, preferably for its easy to pick up iron sights, so even noobs that have it, you can pick it up and just go. EOTech, it even works great with a suppressor. This is a weapon I would suppress, believe it or not. And along with its easy reload, fast fire rate, everything's beautiful about it. Now, on to my top favorite. The G36. Not the G36C, but the G36. Most reliable assault rifle I've come across. People will debate the LA5 is good, but here's the problem with it. Low accuracy sights, fires a lot of bullets, lots of damage, high recoil, high flash. That, and it's also a bit bulkier, so I can't really see too much with it. Now, the G36, though, is a really good sniper weapon. It has every kind of range, so that's why I use the Coyote sight, thunder barrel, folding grip, barrel, compensator, and finally, a laser. You can also change it up as much as you want, but this is my favorite class that I've used frequently. As you can see here, it's the weapon I have the most kills on with, it's the one who serves me the best. But these are my top 10 Phantom Forces weapons. Let me know what you think, and if you have better combos that I didn't list. Maybe a weapon that you thought would be higher didn't. And let me know why you might think that my list may be wrong. But anywho, this is Warpster77 signing out. Hasta.